Hey Internet, it's Aaron, your personal driver, and today I'm going to talk to you about guarantees and other incentives that Uber and Lyft uses and how to make money doing them. Alright guys, so I have some pretty fantastic news. I just hit 25 subscribers. That's awesome. Okay, I've been doing this for a month and I got 25 people who care enough about me to listen to my videos. Well, let's be fair. I know one of them is my mother because I called her out on another video, but that's fine. Like, whatever. I'm just happy that people care about it. And furthermore, I hit 1,000 views, which I never thought in a million years I would get 1,000 views doing this. I'm so excited. I honestly thought I would just be talking to my camera and nobody would give a shit. So I'm pumped. I know a lot of people out there rolling your eyes like 25 subscribers, 1,000 views there, and blah. I was just doing this for fun, man. Just fucking around. I didn't think that anyone would actually pay attention to me. 1,000 people watch my videos. That's awesome. And lastly, I will admit, guys, I am making the big money. So I didn't even know this, but I guess you can make money on ads and stuff, which is kind of cool. I'm learning YouTube as I go along. I'm too old for this shit. I don't even have Instagram. I don't even know what that is. I gotta figure that out. As a side note, guys, I'm too old to know what Instagram is, but everyone keeps telling me to do Instagram. That's the only way to make YouTube work. So I guess I'll figure it out, but I digress. Anyway, I'll put a picture here. Yeah, guys, Google sent me an email and I made 10 cents in ad revenue last month. Oh, buddy, I had no idea this was so lucrative. Yeah, so now you know I'm not doing this for money. But I'm doing it because it's fun and it's easier to talk into a camera than it is to type the same thing over and over again in a forum. Isn't that sad? I'm doing this so I don't have to type in a forum anymore online. That's like literally why I'm doing this. Anyway, okay, so right off the bat, remember, incentives are a way for Uber and Lyft to trick you into working against your own best interest. You should never ever just leave your app on and wait for a ride. You should only be turning your app on when there's surge or prime time. Uber and Lyft know this, but it hurts their business because customers hate surge and prime time. And customers want somebody to get them right away. So they want to turn on their app, press the button, and somebody rides for them. So these incentives are just tricks to get you to log in, even though you're going to be making less money than if you were to just log on. Because remember, guys, it's per mile. The more miles you drive, the less money you make. So the whole business model for Uber and Lyft is to drive less for more per mile. If you can get a 2 or a 2.5 surge or prime time, it's 200%. And they do it differently in Lyft. Then it's like taking 2.5 extra riders. Do you see what I'm saying? Only instead of spending gas on those 2 extra rides, that 1.5 extra ride is all free money in your pocket. It's like the Uber and Lyft gods came down and then just gave you a big fat tip. That's what a 2.5 surge or a 250% prime time gives you. It's like free money. Because you're not driving, but you're getting that additional money per mile. So instead of all of their drivers logging off and waiting for a prime time or surge, Lyft and Uber has different incentive programs that I'll go through to try to keep you logged in. So if you're new and you don't really know what you're doing, you probably want to do some of these, but this is the bar, right? This is the barometer. This is how I can tell if you're a good TNC driver. A good TNC driver can beat the incentives because Uber and Lyft both have algorithms for how much the average driver makes, and that's the incentive that they try to hit. So if you are an above average driver, you should be making more in that hour than what the incentives are giving out anyway. Lastly, what they do is they attract part-time drivers or drivers who would normally be doing something else, right? Because they see, oh, look, there's an hourly guarantee. Oh, there's this incentive. So they log on when they normally wouldn't. And that saturates the market with drivers, and that creates less surge and less prime time. So I try to avoid all incentives and basically in all areas. Now that we've covered that and why they're terrible for drivers to use, let's go into what kind of incentives there are. So there are several types of incentives that Uber and Lyft will do to try to get you to drive. And the first and the dumbest and the worst one that you guys should never do is the per hour rate. If you see that, figure out what area it's in and don't drive there. That place will be flooded with drivers and you won't get the rides. In fact, a lot of people can't make 2 rides in 1 hour to make the minimum to get the guarantee. If one person cancels on you in your time that you're doing the guarantee, you're not gonna get the money. Like, that's how hard it is to get a ride. And sometimes it's like 1.5 or 2. So you're trying to get 2 rides an hour, you won't be able to because every driver on earth is there, and then your second ride will cancel and you will not make any money. Now that being said, I'll put a link here to a video I did. You need to make per mile money. Don't worry about the cost per hour. Sometimes you make $10 an hour, sometimes you make $70 or $80 an hour, but that doesn't matter. What matters is how many miles you drove versus how much money you made per mile. Okay? That's the only way to make money, and I did a video on that. So if you are going to do the hourly guarantee, make sure that you do Lyft and Uber at the same time and you get the minimum rides in both. Okay? So you might be making $25 on Uber and $20 on Lyft, but if you can pull off getting 4 rides, 2 on Uber and 2 in Lyft in that hour, then you're making $45 an hour and you really haven't driven that far, so it actually might be worth it. Now keep in mind, Uber and Lyft still take 25% of whatever you're making. So for every $10 you make an hour, Uber is going to take $2.50 because they're terrible. So you're not really making $20 an hour, you're making $17.50 an hour. That's just how it works. So keep that in mind. But still, if you're double dipping into both, if you can manage to pull that off, I mean, at least that's fine. You're making over $30 an hour. Just remember, to turn a profit on that double dipping, you can't drive more than 25 miles. Because if you drive more than 25 miles, the way the math works out, you actually lose money in your hourly guarantee. So if you're gonna try, and you shouldn't, you should just avoid the hourly guarantee because it's total bullshit. You have to double dip into Uber and Lyft and you gotta drive less than 25 miles. If you can do that, then the hourly guarantees are a profit. You can see now why it's a bad idea to ever do an hourly guarantee. Okay, there we go. All right, and now the second thing that you can do, number 2 if you will, is Boost. That's what they call it, right? Boost is Uber pays you extra money per mile. The most common is 1.2, 1.3, which may not mean a lot in your market, but in Seattle, that's enough money. In Portland, that's enough money. If you're getting 1.2 Boost in Portland, you're gonna make a killing. I mean, I would drive for every Boost incentive there is in Portland. In Seattle, it's a little more rough, but you can still make some money. Because honestly, as long as you're making $1.30 or more, $1.20 or more an hour, like right around there per mile, you can make money in this business. So what they're essentially saying is they're gonna pay you a couple extra cents a mile during busy times. The only problem with the Boost is, again, it brings a lot of drivers to the area. So if you know your market and maybe you right next to like the Boost area, it gets really busy, you might get a higher surge right outside of the Boost area. So keep that in mind. Now I can't tell you how to do your market. For me, I like to go just about 2 or 3 miles north of the Boost area in Seattle because I usually can get like a 1.5 or 1.7. But you know, if you really need the money, you're gonna grind it out. There's a lot worse ways to make money than at 1.3 and then doing like 4 or 5 rides that hour. I mean, even if they're short rides, you still make money there in an hour. And the last way to make money in incentives is pretty much just a Lyft thing, okay? It's called a power drive bonus. I'm gonna couple that with their rental program because Portland has a great rental program, guys. If you are in Portland, I don't know why everyone isn't doing this. If you're gonna do it full time, they'll give you a free rental car, man. A free rental car. That's like almost the majority of your overhead gone. You only have to pay for gas and you're getting a pretty good vehicle. I mean, you're getting like a Nissan Altima, you know, or equivalent. So you're gonna get 25, 30 miles a gallon, right? So it's not the best, but you're not paying for tires, you're not paying for oil changes, you're not paying for depreciation. I mean, if you're in Portland and you do not go to the Farmington location, the Farmington Road location in Beaverton to get your free rental car, dude, you're a crazy person. It just doesn't make any sense. You make so much more money with a rental car, especially because you don't pay for the rental car. Okay, another thing is you get power drive bonus. Now, it gets kind of complicated, but basically, a certain amount of drivers in each market, Lyft will pay 10 or 20% extra to you if you work these peak hours, these hours that Lyft needs drivers because there's high demand. So you may not be making prime time, you may not be making extra money, but if you can get there, you do get an extra 20%. So full-time drivers, that's pretty important to them because full-time drivers, you know, you make between $1,000 and $1,500 depending on your market and depending on how busy it is that week. So 20%, that's $200. That's a pretty good bonus. Yeah, you know, so $200 or $300 extra dollars. It's like basically getting an 8th day that week. Right? You're driving an extra day on Lyft is what that comes down to. The only problem with that is Lyft has increased the requirements to make the power drive bonus. So a lot of people aren't even doing that. You know, they're going back to the old school strategy of turn your app off and only turn it on when there's prime time or there's surge on Uber. Because it's harder and harder to get these power drive bonuses. Hey everyone, this is my son. I woke him up when I was doing videos. Say hi, Internet.
Hi, Internet.
Say like, comment, subscribe. Say put comments below.
Put comments below.
One over here now and say, if you guys want to be an Uber, Lyft, or Juno driver, you can click the links to the left-hand side and they'll go ahead and take care of that for you. Thumbs up, point. Okay, say bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet. Thumbs up in the comments.
Yeah, thumbs up in the comments. That's right. Johnny, were you supposed to be sleeping?
Yes.
Daddy woke you up?
Yes.
Yeah. Now you're doing videos on the internet, huh?
Yes.
Is it fun?
Yes.
Tell the people what they want to hear, Johnny. Who's your favorite Avenger?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. All right, bye, Internet.
Did what?
Focus, you son of a bitch.